Welcome to the Velvet Story, where voices once silenced are finally heard. In the heart of a burning empire, one woman chose truth over safety. These are the final chapters of her journey, of fire, memory, and love found in silence. This is Maiden of the Pavilion. Chapter 13, 14, 15 and Epilogue. Let begins with Chapter 13, The Woman Who Was a Whisper. From the story, Whispers from the Hollow Pavilion. A whisper is not a sound. It is a breath that chooses to stay alive. The disappearance of the Empress spread like incense smoke, quiet, fragrant, and dangerous. Some said she had gone north to rebuild power. Others said she vanished into exile willingly. But Aryu Lan knew one thing: Fayum never left without a reason. A secret meeting. Late one evening, a folded note appeared beneath Aryu Lan's inkstone. Midnight. The pavilion courtyard. Alone. She knew the handwriting. It was not Kayan, not the emperor, not a court scribe. It was Fayun's. In the courtyard, Aryu Lan arrived before midnight, beneath a full moon. She waited in the shadow of the apricot tree. Fayum stepped out, no robes, no crown. Only a simple grey cloak, and a face that looked unusually human. "Do not call for guards," Fayum said. "This is not a trap." "Then what is it?" Aryu Lan asked. Fayum sat on the old stone bench, as if her bones were heavy. "You won. I lost. But I can still end your story if I choose." Aryu Lan didn't flinch. "Then do it. Or listen. The bargain." Fayum opened a scroll of her own, not forged, not stolen. A pardon. Official. Stamped with the Emperor's dragon seal. "This will secure your pavilion forever," she said. "No more spies. No more threats. Peace." Aryu Lan narrowed her eyes. "What's the cost?" "Silence," Fayum replied. "You stop your letters. You stop the records. No more collecting stories. No more unrest. You want me quiet. Again. I want peace. You want your peace, not theirs." Fayum looked tired. For the first time, sincere. "You don't know what it costs to rule." Aryu Lan's voice dropped, calm but sharp. "No, but I know what it costs to be forgotten." She stood and left the scroll on the bench. "I will not whisper your silence." Kayan's turning point. Meanwhile, Kayan stood at the south gate, facing two messengers from his homeland. They offered him clemency, return to his people, rejoin the army, and in exchange, abandon Aryu Lan's cause. "You were a commander," they said. "Now you're just a man beside a ruined girl." Kayan closed his eyes. He remembered. Her hands ink-stained from letters. Her voice soft and true beneath the apricot tree. The first time she said his name without fear. He smiled. "She's not ruined. She just isn't afraid to be seen." He walked away from the messengers. And never looked back. Aryu Lan writes. That night, Aryu Lan sat at her desk and began a new record, not for the archives. For herself. "I am not a ghost. I am not a girl to be pitied. I am not the daughter of May. I am Aryu Lan. I was never a whisper. You simply refused to listen." In the shadows, a figure crept through the garden wall. Not a courtier, not a messenger. A young woman with burn scars on her hands and a blade hidden in her robe. One of the forgotten women. She entered the pavilion and asked to speak to Aryu Lan. Her words were simple. "You don't know me, but your letters saved me. I'm here to protect your voice. Until the end." End of chapter 13. Chapter 14, The Hollow Pavilion Burns. From the story, Maiden of the Pavilion. What you build to protect yourself, may one day protect others. But not without cost. Dawn arrived not with bells, but with smoke. Aryu Lan was awakened by the scent of fire, sharp, bitter, and close. The hollow pavilion, her sanctuary of voices and stories, was burning. The flames. By the time Aryu Lan reached the main hall, the inner shelves were already aflame. Scrolls written by forgotten women, some the only copies, were curling in the heat. Lady Hui, face ash-marked, shouted orders. Kayan and two stable boys fought to create a fire line, dragging buckets, smashing windows. The archives, they set fire to the women's wing first. Hui cried. Someone knew where to strike. The serpent returns. A shadow moved through the flames. Not Fayum, Minister Jian, exiled, forgotten, and now returned in secret, not for power, but for revenge. I told you the truth was dangerous, he whispered as he stepped through smoke. It's never the crown that kills reform. It's the ones who used to wear it. He threw another torch into the ink hall. But this time, a voice stopped him. The burned woman, the woman with the scarred hands, the one who had appeared in chapter 13, stood blocking the exit. She said nothing. She simply raised a blade. Not to kill, to stand in the way. You are not worth the scroll she lost, she said to Jian. Jian tried to push past. But Cain tackled him from the side, pinning him to the burning floor until the guards arrived. Aryu Lan's choice. Aryu Lan stood before the last shelf. It held the unpublished letters, stories of girls in chains, wives in silence, widows in exile. If she saved herself, they would burn. If she saved the scrolls, she might not make it out. She wrapped her arms around the shelf, lifted as many scrolls as she could into her sleeves. And as fire kissed her robe, Can's arms pulled her out. Rain, by miracle, or fate, a sudden downpour began. Ash met water, fire met silence. The hollow pavilion smoldered, half destroyed, but not erased. And Aryu Lan lay on the soaked garden stones, coughing smoke. Cain knelt beside her. You saved them, he whispered. But who will save you? She smiled faintly, eyes closed. I don't need saving. I need to remember. Aftermath. The pavilion would never look the same. Walls scorched, scrolls gone. But what remained? A garden where women came freely. A courtyard where stories were spoken, not hidden. A young woman named Aryu Lan, who had stopped hiding. Cain stayed, not as protector, not as warrior, but as someone reborn in peace. A letter from the emperor. 1 week later, a letter arrived from the emperor. It read, I built a palace. You built a nation of voices. Forgive my silence. It was never my strength. From today onward, the pavilion is sacred ground. And you are no longer a whisper. End of chapter 14. Chapter 15, The Girl Who Stood in Smoke. From the story, Maiden of the Pavilion. Love doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it waits in silence until the world is ready to hear it. The pavilion smoldered, but the worst was over. Life returned like spring after a long war. Scrolls rewritten, voices restored, and beneath it all, a quiet question that neither Cain nor Aryu Lan dared voice. Until tonight, a quiet night, the moon hung low over the ash-scented garden. Aryu Lan sat beneath the apricot tree, sleeves rolled, her fingertips ink-stained again. Cain approached, hesitant but without armor, no sword, no title, no obligation. Just him. I thought you'd be writing, he said. I'm remembering, she replied softly. A pause. The kind that fills itself with breath. The conversation. You didn't have to come back, Aryu Lan whispered. You could have gone home. I did, Cain said. Here. She turned to look at him. For once, he didn't look away. You are the only war one ever wanted to lose, he said quietly. The first touch. Aryu Lan reached for his hand. Not dramatic, just gentle and real. You are not my rescue, she said. You are my witness. He leaned forward, forehead resting against hers. And you are my reason to stay alive. A soft, intimate moment. They kissed, not desperate, not rushed, but slow, like the first words of a poem that had waited too long to be spoken. His fingers traced the ink on her palms. She leaned into his chest, hearing his heartbeat like a lullaby after war. Stay, she whispered. Always. They didn't speak after that. Not because there was nothing to say, but because finally, everything had been heard. Morning after, Aryu Lan awoke to sunlight and soft breath beside her. No longer alone. Cain lay on the floor beside her bedding, hands still resting against hers. Not lovers of scandal, but companions of truth, loyalty, and healing. And for the first time in her life, she wasn't a secret. She was a choice. The final letter. R.U. Lan wrote one last scroll. To the girl who once thought silence was safety. You were wrong, but I forgive you. You are not a whisper. You are the echo that rebuilt a world. She sealed it, and placed it not on a shelf, but beneath a stone, under the apricot tree, where roots could carry it into the earth, and where no fire could touch it again. End of chapter 15. Epilogue, Letters Carried by Wind. 10 years later. From the story, Maiden of the Pavilion. The story ends not when a voice goes quiet, but when someone new begins to listen. 10 years had passed. The fire was long gone. The emperor was dead. The empress had vanished again. This time, no one searched. But the hollow pavilion stood taller than ever before. Not a place of exile. Now, a place of learning. The pavilion reborn. Girls from across the empire studied here, writing, medicine, astronomy, court law. R.U. Lan became known not as a witness, but as the first listener. Kian, no longer a soldier, he tended the gardens, taught defense to the shyest students, and made plum wine he never sold. They never married officially, but they were everything to each other, still, soft, and infinite. A little girl with ink-stained fingers. A child ran across the pavilion garden. Her hair was raven black. Her robes dusted with spring yellow. Her name was Li Mei, named after R.U. Lan's mother. She stopped beneath the apricot tree, kneeling beside a stone. There, she found a small wooden box. Inside, dozens of old letters tied with a red thread. Her mother's handwriting. Mama, she asked later, were these from you? From the girl I used to be, R.U. Lan said. Before I knew how to be heard. A final visitor. That evening, as the moon rose, a visitor arrived. A young woman, maybe 18, maybe 20, her hair braided in mourning. Her eyes wide with something older than fear. She held a letter addressed simply to the girl who was a whisper. R.U. Lan greeted her with tea and silence. I read your scrolls in a forgotten market, the girl whispered. I thought, if I came here, I could find out who I am. R.U. Lan smiled softly. You already did, she said. You came. The wind moves. That night, a breeze passed through the pavilion. It rustled the new scrolls. It touched the apricot petals. It kissed the girl's cheek. And somewhere in the hush between heartbeat and memory, the wind carried the very last words of the story. You were never meant to stay quiet. You were meant to survive. You were meant to be heard. If you heard something today, in R.U. Lan's courage, in Kian's quiet loyalty, in the ink-stained hands of forgotten girls, let it stay with you. Let it move you to listen, to write, to remember. Subscribe to the Velvet Story for more tales, where silence becomes strength, and where every whisper becomes a voice. Until next time, let the story live on.